All right, welcome to the latest episode of the Colman Power Organic Fitness Podcast. I have my latest guest here in front of me, the wonderful, most certainly, Elaine Walsh from the likes of Wild About Mushrooms based in Waterford, my favourite county. That's because I'm from Waterford. Elaine, say hello to the listeners.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Colman, and most importantly, and it's great to be on the podcast. I'm looking forward to seeing how we get through this one.
We'll make it through. And there was an inside kind of a joke that we'll tell you just before we hit record. She has dogs that do snoring, but they're currently not in the same room, so we won't have that trouble today, she said. Elaine, I suppose I brought you on to tell us, about the likes of what you're currently doing in relation to a product that has super benefits in relation to health with mushrooms, but we'll be talking about that later on. But I want you to, tell the listeners a little bit about your background and how you got into it and how you got from where you were to where you are right now, I suppose.
Sure thing. Thanks, Colin. Yeah. So I suppose what I would say is that my background, I worked for 17 years in the pharmaceutical industry. Great experiences, really hard work. I did a lot of stuff about building new sites in Ireland. So worked with the likes of Regeneron, Pfizer, Lilly, and building those manufacturing sites from greenfield, meaning there's nothing there, designing the facility, getting it qualified and built, and then getting it passed by the regulations so that they can then manufacture the drug products, getting those tested, getting them released and onto the market for patients. So really, like, you learn an awful lot about that. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about people, which is always helpful in the life that we live. And then in the background, then I suppose I've always been at that end where, you know, you're doing the testing and you're getting the sites up and going and you're getting it to patients that really need it. And I started thinking about my own journey and my own life, and then kind of going through different little villages, always seeing at least one pharmacy in there. And look, we always need intervention. So that's just the human condition. But I want to think about how I could help people with a proactive approach to their daily living, right? So I kind of started my journey 3 years ago then, looking into mushrooms, or fungi as people call them. And I knew that there is a lot of ancient mushrooms out there that have kind of not been used at this side of the world. They're really popular in Asia, Canada, and America. They're great for doing studies over there with those. So two of the mushrooms that I've kind of tried to focus in on, one is lion's mane. So people might not have heard of it. It kind of looks like an actual mane of a lion, but it's white, it's a little bit shaggy, and it's quite squidgy, for want of a better word. And then the turkey tail is really hard. It grows on hardwood trees. It looks like the tail of a turkey that you would see for Thanksgiving dinner. So it's, you know, it stands out. But it's more hard. Like, you would think it was wood. It's so hard to touch. So those two are the two mushrooms I focus on within Wild About Mushrooms. And with that, then you can go and you can buy your capsules around your pharmacies and all of that. But I suppose the mindset I had was I wanted to get food into people's plates and available to them with this boost in it. So I make things like peanut butter and oat cups. So within that, then you're getting your peanut butter, which has you know, that lovely kind of sumptuous taste, and then the oats is great, and they're all celiac oats, so the oats is great for your digestion as well, with your boost of your mushrooms in there, which I'll explain in a minute. So they're like, I sell them in sets of 2s or 6s, but in your set of 2 you're getting like 4 grams of protein, and you're getting your gram of your superfood mushroom in there as well. They're really sustaining, fab with a coffee or a tea. Like, I mean, they're fabulous. I can't talk enough about them.
Oh my God, Elaine, I actually love that exact product right there now. Peanut butter is probably one of my favorite foods in the world, followed by mushrooms for the benefits. Oh Jesus, that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's absolutely divine, and it's so sustaining, Colman. Like, it's just amazing. And then the other one I have is the nutty fig bite, for the people who like may not be into peanut butter like you and I are. So they get this, they've got dried figs, they've got chia seeds, they've got pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds. We've got a little touch of Irish honey from the local area. And then we have organic coconut oil. So the coconut oil is probably the one that kind of helps bind it all together. So you're getting all of your omegas in that little bite as well. And it's all about, like, the way I look at it is it's all about mindful eating as well. So, you know, you could open your Tato package, you can open all the like packages you can get in the shop, and they're gone within a couple of seconds. Whereas these, you take the bite, you're mindfully thinking, God, this is tasty. You get all the taste on the palate, and it's really nice. And I don't know if you know, but as we grow older, our taste buds change. So the taste buds you were born with are completely different taste buds to the taste buds you have now. And they actually regenerate every number of months. So your taste, you might find, has changed. I know for women, they definitely change a lot more frequently. So I would say at the beginning of this year, I had a sweet tasting desire, and now I'm more into the savory tasting desire. And it's all about that change in your taste buds generation. So really interesting stuff on the body side of things. And then we have also like a dark chocolate option as well. Yeah, we have a dark chocolate option as well. So it's 85% dark chocolate. It has cacao, so I make it with cacao nib. So you get all the benefits, as you know, the cacao side of things. And then for Christmas, I have a specialty where I've added cloves and mixed spices, so it gives that winter warmness. So when you're kind of taking it in, it's kind of, you know, you don't need a lot of them. Again, like the chocolates, like the peanut butter, it's all about small quantities, very sustaining, very tasty, really covers your palate, you know. So through the whole palate tasting, you're getting this lovely feel of, oh gosh, this is gorgeous, but I'm full after one or two. Like,
and I love actually telling people it's not about necessarily eating less food, it's more about eating more of the right type of food, containing something that has certainly the dark chocolate, high in magnesium, a winner for reducing cravings, so important for people, and the benefits of the added mushrooms. And we will be further even expanding on that. The likes of it being beneficial for your brain. They contain fiber good for your gut health. 90% of your serotonin is produced there. Just, I want one now. I have a cup of tea here. I just need it.
I had them there for you. Sorry, Colman. And the last thing then that we have at the minute is a granola. And I'll tell you now, Colman, the granola I just can't keep on the shelf. Like, I am actually located in the Mountain View Kilkenny Market every Sunday for the month of December. And literally, it's a sellout product every single time. So people are loving it, and people are ordering it online. And then I've actually met a number of people, like, you know, the people who are aware of their intake because they have a potential issue. So they have either an allergy or they have a mechanism in their body that they're not able to digest it. So I have people who are like, I can't do the seeds. So can you, so I make custom ones for them as well. So they just get all the nuts in them. So that it's a super boost granola. It's on its own. So I'll give you a little bit about the benefits of the two mushrooms. Do you think, should I go into that now, Colman?
Yeah, that'd be absolutely lovely. Yeah.
Right. So the line so the lion's mane is brilliant. It's your cognitive one, right? So what we say with our granola is a body and mind element to it. It has both mushrooms in it, but the mind one is our super boost for your brain. What the actual lion's mane does is it rebuilds the neurons in your brain. There's a number of studies done in dementia where they take an MRI scan at day 0, and after 12 weeks they take the MRI scan and they see the neurons flashing and rebuilding increase by 30%. So that's pretty impressive. No other treatment to it, just in consuming the mushroom, up to 4 grams of the mushroom on a daily basis. And that's over a 12-week period. So it's great for the brain. It rebuilds those neurons. It helps people with brain fog. So any lady getting older in time, we hit a lot of brain fog. So it's fantastic to help with that. It helps with brain focus as well. So for those students that are hitting exams, or you have a mental challenge coming up, it's fantastic to help with brain focus. And as you know, like training with most things, it's not one and done. You have to consume it over a period of time. And it's also a mood booster. So it actually, as you know, like if you're getting those extra antioxidants into your brain and your feed, it gives you that boost of feeling a lot better. It helps with the focus and all of that. So it's really fantastic to consume. So that's your brain side of things. And then for the turkey tail, we say that's our body. So the turkey tail, I think I'm going to surprise you with this one, Colman. The turkey tail has 40 times more antioxidants than a blueberry, weight for weight.
That's amazing. I love this fact. The whole thing about this is I bring people on who are like into their literally products right now. That is just blowing my socks off, even though I don't usually wear socks, but it's blowing my sandals, it's blowing my Birkenstocks off my feet. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. This mushroom, I started looking for this mushroom because of my own feeling like I wasn't able to take the nutrition out of the food I was consuming. So this mushroom, I've been on it now for the last year and a half, and I have had no gut problems. It is the one for your gut, right? So you get your antioxidants, massive amount of antioxidants in there. It is an anti-inflammatory properties as well. So for those people doing exercise and they need that recovery really quickly with the cells, it has that anti-inflammatory properties, so you get that recovery really quick. It's high in magnesium, it's high in calcium, and it's high in iron as well. So you're getting all those elements in there, and it's just a fantastic boost. Also, from the science side of things, from a paper, publications of scientific papers, they have used it in colon cancer. And it's having dramatic effects for people who have colon cancer. So all those studies are done in Canada, they're done in Asia, and they're done in America. They haven't yet come across to Europe, but they're fantastic. The knowledge is out there. You can get it on the National Library of Medicine has them. So they're all available for anybody that's out there that wants to read more.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I even, during the likes of the study and the research for my own, the likes book, mushrooms are in there. It's the idea that literally food is medicine. And it's about most certainly understanding where we can get the best type of foods to specifically help our, I'm going to say, health issue. But the idea is there's a food item out there that's and will solve nearly 90, if not 95% of people's health issues.
100%, I totally agree with you. Like what the other thing to add on with the turkey tail is it's a prebiotic for your gut. So you'll be aware of all these probiotics, you know, and you can get them in tablet format, you can get them in yogurt format, and they're all fantastic and they all have their benefits. But the benefit of a prebiotic is it works on your own flora and fauna in your own gut. So your gut bacteria is different to anybody in your family, anybody that you're friends with. It's all very specific to you. So having a prebiotic means that it's boosting your own gut flora and fauna, which is fantastic.
This is unbelievable. And the idea of, I suppose, how did you first get interested and where did you hear about mushrooms? Because for the most part, people just think that mushrooms are this specific little white little thing that we get in a blue tub and we put them in with maybe a steak and we have it for dinner.
Which are absolutely beautiful, no denying them. And the vitamin D quantity in them are gorgeous as well. Mushrooms, I suppose where did I come from? My initial background is from a farming background. My mum and dad are farmers. And you know, we would have always had mushrooms growing in the locality around us and we would have always consumed them. So there's always that interest. And I guess when I started looking into this and trying to understand what could I use, the ethos of the business is always organic, local, sustainability, right? They're the three kind of pillars of the business that I'd like to put out there. And I suppose with a mushroom, it's a fungus, right? But the mycelium of a mushroom has a full life cycle, like nature does, like farming does, like life has. So it comes from the death of something else. So for a mushroom to grow, it is feeding and consuming a dead tree or a dead something else. So from that benefit, you're getting that full life cycle, but you're taking all the nutrients. So hardwood trees are fantastic. They not only give us oxygen in the air on a daily basis for us to live on this planet, but they actually have lots of other benefits in there. So a lot of the beneficial and functional mushrooms grow in hardwoods. We have some other mushrooms coming out next year, but I won't go into those. Maybe we'll do another podcast on those ones, Colman. But so I would think if you could get mushrooms, the ones that have been growing on hardwoods are the way to go because you get a lot of benefits from those. And the lion's mane and turkey tail are two of those mushrooms.
Can I ask even this, I suppose, it's the fact that are you growing your own turkey tail and or lion's mane as well?
So I did start initially 2 years ago growing my own. It's fascinating. Like I grew oyster mushrooms, I grew shiitake, I grew lion's mane, and I grew turkey tail. And they're so fascinating. But I actually can't grow enough to meet the demand. So I have local suppliers in Ireland that I actually purchase them off of, which is fantastic.
Better. Like,
Yeah.
Christ almighty. You could have said, right, that, we're buying them in from the likes of the UK or even maybe Europe or whatever, and that you still would have had an unbelievable product. You're buying them from Ireland as well. But
Yeah.
even that, did you inoculate logs for yourself and leave them sit in a chamber, or did you do it more so in growing bags? I love growing.
Yeah, no, it's so fascinating. One of the reasons that I did it is I wanted to see it. And I thought, like, even just watching the whole life cycle is super interesting. So I did the log and I did the grow bag. The logs work for the turkey tail. You can't really do them in a grow bag. You can, but they're not very successful. In my experience, right? I'm sure there's people out there that are fantastic at it, but I wasn't, okay? I wasn't one of those lucky ones. It worked on the log, really. They're like this size logs, and you kind of drill little holes in and you inoculate it. And then we have like this little chamber, and it's in darkness. So for the first kind of life cycle phase, it has to be in darkness. You have to mist it on a daily basis, and then that temperature has to be a certain degree. So for us in Ireland, our temperatures are difficult. If you want to have a good consumption or a good growth, you need to keep the chamber at a certain temperature. But yeah, it's fascinating.
So you inoculate and you were successful with lion's mane inside the chambers. I started off with inoculating them oyster mushrooms and shiitake on. It was hardwood timber. I can't remember exactly the timber that I used. We drilled the holes. It was a huge process. It's like I think life is like a project. Do you know what I mean in itself? I remember there was a tree that was leaning towards a house. I had to cut it down, and then it was like, what can I do with this tree? Instead of just splitting up for timber, we laid it down. We looked up some things, inoculated with mushrooms, and my eyes lit up. I was like, this is amazing. Lifted and left them in 1.5 meter chunks. I literally at the time remember the really hot day. I was cutting this tree down. Hair was a bit longer, looked like Tarzan. T-shirt off, lifting it back on top of the tractor.
Best life.
That's life. Brought it up to literally the shed. We left it season for a period of time, as it was listed out in a PDF document that I got of how to grow your own mushrooms. Then we left it in the stables, drilled all the holes, cleared out the stables, and as a result of that, then got dowels that inoculated it in. Left it sit there for a week, then brought it back down to literally where it was situated outside, and it kind of went from cool clean area to a more sort, I suppose, and the inoculation process was started inside, so where it wouldn't, I suppose, have competition from other fungi. And then we brought it back down, and it took about 2 years for anything to come up. But when it did, the excitement.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. and that 2 years, you'll see that the tree actually needed to get to a point of decay where the mushroom was like, yes, it's definitely dead. I'm going to consume this now and grow.
I'm massively impressed that you were growing your own mushrooms as well.
I mean, that's the scientific part of me. I'm fascinated with the world, but also, like, I would never, try from an ethical perspective. I would never tell something to somebody that I hadn't tried myself. That's why it's been a 2-year process, and we're only live as a company for trading since like June of this year. So that whole research element was to make sure I knew all that I needed to know. I knew that I could get these benefits into these types of products and get them across to people for their benefits. And I suppose one of the elements that people don't know a lot about is the efficacy of your mushroom. When it goes above a certain temperature for consuming, you lose all efficacy. So like some of the mushrooms, it's 100 degrees, so the teas and coffees, and some of the mushrooms are 80 degrees. So if you're trying to consume your mushroom and it's gone above that temperature, you're losing the efficacy in the mushroom extract.
Just to tell the layman man, even me, what is efficacy?
Efficacy. So it's kind of the active compound, the one that gives you the benefit in what you're consuming.
So if you used to say that if you're cooking your mushrooms, or if you're heating your mushrooms in the process, that you're taking away from the benefit. That's what you're saying.
Not the mushroom meat, as we'll call it, the actual floured mushroom, the mushroom extract. So when we get the mushroom, we actually dehydrate it at a low temperature over a long period of time, and then we make it into a powder. And that powder, if that goes above a certain temperature, some of them are 80 degrees, some of them are 100 degrees, you lose all of the positive benefits of it. So the efficacy is gone. So that's why I say to people, like, I've had a lot of customers come to me and they're like, you know, I'm drinking it, and then, you know, initially I was feeling great and now I'm not really feeling anything. So I do kind of just try to educate people so that they can make the right decisions as well. So you have to be aware of what you're consuming and are you getting those benefits?
Yeah, aware of what you're consuming, and most certainly know what way it was made before you consumed it, or what way you are getting it into your body.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So there is a load of science part to it. It gets very technical. So I'm pulling myself back to try and go, look, just as awareness, be aware when you're consuming it. Like, so anything that I make, my granola is roasted, but I roast the granola, it dries, it cools, and then I add the extract to it. So there's no impact that way. So when people open their granola bag, they'll see this little powder. It's like a gold hue powder that sits on it. And they're like, oh, what's that? And you're like, that's the mushroom extract. It's fabulous.
And how, I suppose, are the likes of your lion's mane and oyster, or no, lion's mane and your turkey tail? Yeah, are they? You have options available for the darker chocolate. Are they coated in that too, or what way does it work with that product?
Yeah, so the dark chocolate. So again, I melt the chocolate, the cacao, and then I actually add the cream and stuff like that, and then I let it cool to a certain temperature. I have my little thermometer, I pop it in, and when it gets below the 80 degrees, I kind of leave it till about 60. So that's where I kind of add it to. I add the powders then, and then I whisk it all in, and then it cools in the fridge for a period of time, and then I make them into little truffle balls. So they're really cute, very tasty though.
Can't wait, can't wait. But out the other side of it, I suppose, tell me how, I suppose, your business has come to where it is like today. The idea is you've been, I think, to up to Dublin and doing a couple of different courses along the way.
Yeah, so I suppose, as I said, I had initially started when I left the pharmaceutical industry. I initially started by doing a postgraduate certificate with actually Galway GMIT on food innovation and entrepreneurship. So that was fascinating. That kind of got the growth mindset ticking, and it got me. I met loads of other. A lot of the great thing about that course is a lot of the lecturers were actually business owners, and they were either farmers or they were fishermen, or they were, you know, they had all different types of industries kind of educating you. So you got to see where their growth mindset started. So, and they kind of educated you on design thinking and all of that. So I did that, and that kind of started where we had to generate products. So I generated like the granola, I generated a mushroom pate, which was absolutely fantastic. So, but I don't have that one on the market just yet. So I want to do a little bit of tweaking with that. I'm doing that with a sweet potato and stuff like that. It's just fab. So it's gorgeous, like. And
Sweet
then
potato pate. Oh, for God's sake, what you like? 3 more.
It's gorgeous. I can't tell you how much it's so tasty. Anyway, and then I went on and I said, look, I want to know a little bit more about the nutritional side of things. So I went and I did a postgraduate on nutrition and product development. So that got me back into the science of it. Like, so when you pair this compound with this compound, you get these vitamins, you get these minerals, and that's where a lot of the science behind the combinations have come. Not only do they taste great, but you're getting all of your, even if there was no mushrooms in there, you're getting all of the benefits of your flax seeds, you're getting the benefits of your omegas, you're getting your vitamin D's, your vitamin, all of the vitamins based on the nuts that I add in there. They're amazing. So, and then you get the super boost. So my granola is called super boost granola because it's got that extra boost in there. So I did those, you know, and they were like year-long courses, but they got me to kind of get it more the scientific side of things, learn a lot about the labeling, learn a lot about adulteration within the food industry, which is quite scary, I would say. So it definitely changed my whole shopping experience for food.
Yeah, well, still, the happy pair better watch out with the likes of your granola, that's for sure. But here, let me touch base with the likes of any of your clients that you currently have right now. What are their benefits that they're seeing out the other side of it after consuming on a basis of a couple of weeks?
Yeah. So basically, we were in Ballymaloo a couple of weeks ago, and I met a lot of GPs who bought my granola and have been back on to me to say, yeah, can I have more? This is fantastic. Like, now these were women that were kind of at the retirement age, and they were feeling kind of they needed an extra boost, and they were feeling maybe a little bit like, oh, brain fog thing was happening. Then other ladies had the gut issue. So they've come back and they're saying, I feel like a completely different person, no matter how many haven't been in the industry for giving their patients medication that I would have previously manufactured, by the way. They're now consuming the Super Boost granola and they're like, I just don't know what is going on with my body. It's like a whole rejuvenation. And that's only a few weeks, right? So if they consume it over a long period of time, same as training, you do training, you're going to feel the benefits, but it takes time. You have to put the effort in. So, you know, they're having these wonderful benefits. They're finding that they're having more energy. They're finding that they're much more able to maintain conversations, hold conversations, remember stuff that they have done previously. I had one gentleman who had issues with his gut, and he actually had some other medical issues, but he's like, oh my God, I have never felt as good as I feel. My gut is, I'm not in agony. I'm not bending over every other day of the week. You know, so it's fabulous to get that feedback, because I know, because I've experienced it for the last 2 years, but now other people are getting to feel it and feel those benefits. It's just brilliant.
Yeah. And that's that whole, I suppose, connection between the likes of your gut and the likes of your brain, that vagus nerve, I think it's labeled as. The foods that you eat have a direct result on the way you look, you feel, and how much energy levels you have. If you're eating things that benefit you out the other side of it, of course, you're going to start feeling, I suppose, better, inclusive of, I suppose, your brain, your cognition, the idea of your energy levels are going to, I suppose, be better out the other side of it.
Definitely, yeah. And as you say, like, you know, the gut and how your gut consumes the nutritions into your body is how your body will react to, and your mind, to how that day progresses or how that week progresses, because that's how we fuel ourselves. That's how we energize ourselves.
And it's the idea of listeners of this podcast. The idea is there's no one here that doesn't want to look better and feel better. And the idea is we're going to literally let, I suppose, Elaine, let me know before we wrap this up, where's the best place for people to get in contact with you? What's your social media? Where can they order it? Where can they buy it? Where can they literally get this and hear more about this sweet potato pate that's coming up? I love it.
Yeah, and we've actually got some cold smoothie options coming up as well. But we're on www.wildaboutmushrooms.ie. That's where the website is. I actually learned how to develop my own website and design it and build it. So that's anything you see on that, that's going to be my website that I designed. And then we're also on Instagram. It's wild_mushrooms_ wild_about_mushrooms. I got it right.
I'll put it all in the likes of the show notes anyway. Click and tag it so people can go straight from the likes of these podcasts straight over to your website and or your page.
Yeah, and I respond to people on the website as well. So anybody, I've had lots of people, I'm actually on Google Maps as well, so they can find me there. My number is there as well. But people can actually, I've had people contact me cold and say, you know, what's this, what's that, and go through all that information with them. So I'm happy to give people my time. Also, if anybody has some nutritional issues, and they can't have X, Y, and Z, I'm happy to work through a particular recipe with them that might give them the boost, because it means so much to me that people can take that proactive approach and it's available for them in a inexpensive way. It's not the same price as your normal granola that you'll get in any of the stores, but it, you know, it does have that extra boost.
Yeah, you pay for what you get. It's the idea of never to judge anything by its price, but by its value.
Oh, completely. And it's one of the things you learn, as you know, when you start making your own stuff, you know, the love and the time and the information that has come together to manufacture this little piece is just phenomenal. And sometimes I forget about it because I've been at it so long now. But when people come back to me and they're like, oh my God, I had that last week. I've had, how do I get more? Where do I get more? What do I do? And you're just like, this is just great. I'm so happy you're feeling the benefits. So I do online then. I design my own packaging as well. So online then, you know, when people order online, they'll get a box like this. It's actually my own artwork. So I send them out like that.
Yeah. No, it's the benefit of buying from local, I suppose, individuals like yourself that are able to tailor it to the customer. And I suppose that's something that's unique. And the idea is you'll gain and become the healthiest and happiest version of yourself out the other side of it. Elaine, I'm just going to say thanks so much for coming on to this week's podcast. I love ending these podcasts with saying stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic.